Early in the morning on March 4, 2026, the U.S. Navy used a submarine to launch a torpedo and sink the Iranian Navy frigate Iranian. The ship had over 180 crew members. Only more than 30 were rescued by Sri Lanka. Over 80 bodies have been recovered. Many remain missing. The U.S. military later boasted that this was the first time since World War II that the U.S. used a torpedo to sink an enemy warship. They called it a dimension-reducing strike. It highlighted America's superior military power. Many people are curious. Why did this Iranian warship go near Sri Lanka? In a full-scale war with the U.S., was this not suicide? This brings us to the main character of our channel. It is India, under the leadership of Modi, the High Priest. In mid to late February, Bharat Empire hosted the Milan 2026 exercise. It invited navies from dozens of countries. The goal was to show India's strength as the protector of the Indian Ocean. At that time, the war between the U.S., Israel, and Iran had not started yet. It was still peacetime. The Iranian warship attended as an honored guest. After all, India is Iran's strategic partner. It was reasonable for Iran to show up and support. But personally, I think the Iranians lost their minds. In the previous U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran, India refused to condemn the U.S. and Israel. Even many Indians were caught spying for Mossad and arrested by Iran. Only people with water in their brains would trust Indian goodwill, yet the Iranians did trust them. If they watched more of my videos, they would know my frequent joke. If you must choose to trust a snake or an Indian, choose the snake without hesitation. Anyway, the exercise was a big success. It was a typical Indian empty show. Warships from many countries exchanged some unimportant procedures. They toured each other's equipment. Then they gave gifts and ended the event. Notably, Iranian and U.S. personnel appeared together in photos. The atmosphere was very harmonious. On February 27th, the exercise ended. Iranian rested briefly. It took Indian gifts and prepared to return home. On March 4th, the ship was in waters near Sri Lanka. It was still in the extended defense circle of India's exclusive economic zone. This is the area where Bharat Empire Navy claims to act as net security provider. Yet the U.S. Navy ambushed and sank it there. The U.S. Daddy showed no respect for India's claimed dignity as global leader. It carried out war right at India's doorstep. Modi, the High Priest, and his powerful government did not even dare issue a protest. After the disaster, Sri Lanka's government immediately sent ships and planes for search and rescue. They recovered many bodies. They sent survivors to hospitals. India waited over 10 hours before daring to send one sailboat and one plane to the scene. This was not just cowardly. It was utterly shameless. I can understand that India's so-called dual carriers are just two floating coffins at sea. They dare not confront Pakistan. Of course, they dare not confront the U.S. But the exercise was hosted by you. The Iranian warship was invited by you. The incident happened in the area you publicly promised to secure. When trouble came, how could the Indian government stay out of it and stay silent? At the very least, you should summon the U.S. ambassador and lodge a strong protest. I believe if India had detained the Iranian warship and told them it was dangerous to sail now, or if India had sent warships to escort it safely home, it would have earned India many points. This was a golden historic chance for India to show responsibility as a regional power. Even if the U.S. went mad, they would not dare attack an Iranian ship under Indian escort. After all, India is at least the U.S. watchdog. The master may not give bones, but he will not beat it with a stick for no reason. In the U.S., abusing a pet dog is seriously immoral and even illegal. I believe the U.S. Navy would not break that tradition. But reality was completely different from what normal people imagine. The Indian government said, once the ship left Indian waters, it had nothing to do with India. It seems their often mentioned extended defense circle and net security provider role are just empty words. No one needs to take them seriously. After all, Indian promises are like used toilet paper. The only right thing is to throw it in the trash. Maybe many Indians do not understand this, because their country has hundreds of millions without toilets. In their dictionary, the word credibility no longer exists. What is even stranger is this. India hosted Milan 2026 at the end of February. Modi visited Israel on the 25th to 26th. The exercise ended on the 27th. The U.S. and Israel started war against Iran on the 28th. Iranian was stranded abroad and became an orphan. What shameless role did India play in this? Were they not accomplices? Is it very possible that India planned all this in advance as accomplices? At least this timeline is extremely suspicious. Normal people would doubt India's dirty role. I hope Indians do not forget. You have zero credibility in the international community. Now it is time for you to pay the price. The Strait of Hormuz is shut down. Russia canceled discounts on oil supplies to India and raised prices. Saudi Arabia prioritizes oil transfers from Yanbu port to strategic partners like China. Where will you Indians buy oil? Only from the US daddy at high prices for shale oil and gas. Prepare for expensive shipping and 7 times longer transit times. See how an international orphan like you can achieve industrialization. In the future, no matter who leads Iran's government, this blood debt will be on India's account. You will never have safe sea lanes. You, a shameless nation that repeatedly betrays allies, can wait to rot slowly in a corner of the world. I will not condemn the US. In wartime, there is no such thing as morality. The US is not a moral nation. But condemning India seems meaningless too. This country has lost all morals. They do not care about my criticism at all. May the dead rest in peace.